Hello, everyone. It's Rachel at Guilty Crow Tarot, and I welcome you back to your reading on how are we going to get through this week managing our anxiety. So, because we're so close to Halloween, I thought that we could use some Halloween decks, and I'm using my Trick or Treat Tarot deck, which is super cute. The only thing I wasn't in love with, if you're a deck collector like I am, they weren't cut right. And I probably should have noticed that before. I think the window of sending them back is closed, but it's not the deck's fault. So we will just love them anyway. And I'm using my Everyday Witch's Familiar Oracle. So we'll see what she's got to say this week. And our first question is going to be, what is going to be bringing us some anxiety this week? I know that I have had a little bit of bad news. My poor husband needs a little bit of surgery on his face, but hopefully he'll be fine. But boy, it was a big hit. It's scary. Things just kind of come out of left field. So managing anxiety this week was definitely key. So let's see what we get here. What are some things that are going to bring us anxiety this week? And we get the Fool in reverse. So there's going to be a moment this week where you're going to feel very foolish. Just know you might say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. Something is going to come up. People might be like, oh my God, look at that one. You know what? We've talked about it in the past. Don't worry about it, what other people think. But you will maybe be standing on your own on this one a little bit. That's okay. It's okay to look foolish sometimes. We all do. I think that we always think that we're the only ones that ever look stupid or say the worst things. I am forever saying the worst thing. Just anything that's inappropriate, it's usually blurting out of my mouth, at that moment. Because I make a joke of a lot of stuff. And in this world where there's a lot of people that get offended by stuff, I'm not always your person. I just can't help it. I find humor really cathartic. So anyway, if that's you too, just know that you might be feeling a little foolish this week. You might also be hesitant to start something new. Not sure if it's a good idea, feeling a little uncomfortable with that. But let's see how we can combat that this week. And we get the Queen of Cups. And I don't know if you can see how that card is cut wrong, but it doesn't matter. So the Queen of Cups is telling you to just nurture yourself through it, right? Be kind to yourself. If you do say something inappropriate or somebody gets mad at you, you can be nice to them about it. If you want to apologize, that's fine. I personally think that being offended is a choice. Some people always just choose to be offended. But with the Queen of Cups, maybe just offer an apology, give that person a hug. Maybe they're feeling not so great this week too. So maybe you can ask them how they're feeling, because maybe they're just in a bad mood. Maybe they had a bad week last week too. So I guess maybe we have to cut them some slack too, right? Let's just pull one more card on that. And we're going to get the Five of Swords in reverse. So I do feel like there's a little bit of a conflict going on this week that maybe bringing that Queen of Cups energy to will help resolve. Okay. With the Fool in reverse too, we're going through a little bit of like uncomfortable, uncharted territory. And with the Five of Swords, there could be conflicting ideas going on, conflicting thoughts, but that's going to start easing up with that Five of Swords in reverse. So maybe this whole blunder will break the ice, and it will ease up any tensions that could be happening. I feel like this could possibly be kind of involving a group of people with that Five of Swords in reverse. Conflicting ideas at least. Okay. So let's see what else it might be bringing us anxiety this week. And we get the Seven of Wands. People are definitely on the defense. It could be you, it could be other people. So know that, if it is you, you will overcome it. Okay. There's going to be a lot of things being thrown at you this week, though. So be prepared for that. This definitely could tie into the previous reading with the Fool in reverse and the Queen of Cups there and the Five of Swords. Somebody could possibly come at you. But let's go back to that Queen of Cups where you're going to bring love and emotion into that situation and help resolve it. We're also going to bring the Nine of Swords. So feeling overwhelmed, you're going to have a lot of anxiety this week. That's so funny. Remember that the monsters in your closet are not always real. Most of the time, they're just in our head, right? We're the best at giving ourselves anxiety as opposed to sometimes the actual events and the actual things that are happening, because we tend to overthink them, right? So when you overthink anything and you just keep adding to that energy, I feel like that's really going to be happening to you this week. I'm also seeing, because she's in the bed, try to get some good sleep this week, because sleep could definitely affect your anxiety. And we also get the King of Cups. And so that's really beautiful. Again, we're going to offer ourselves some love. We're going to offer other people some love. And I feel like we should also give other people a break. So if arguments are coming out, everybody could just be in their own little bubbles, in their own little spaces. And because everything is so conflicting, this is what could be causing the friction, right? Everybody's in their own different space. So we have to let people stay in their little bubble until they're ready to come out and join the world, join the rest of us. So give everybody the benefit of the doubt this week. Just know that tensions are going to be really high. I'm kind of wondering, what's going to happen in the world this week? And we get the Hanged Man. It's funny, everything right now being status quo, nothing's really moving. There's a lot of anger in the world, a lot of sadness, the hurricanes in North Carolina. My heart goes out to those people. I would love to go down there and help them myself. Florida, just anybody who's devastated. There's just so much going on in the world right now. We have the election season coming up. I mean, that's anxiety ridden there. Everybody hates each other over that. It's just really sad. So, could these things also be coming from that? With the Hanged Man in reverse, I also see that, it's time for us to try to see other people's perspective, even down to just a little family argument, instead of being so stuck in what you believe, try to have more of an open mind this week and try to see where other people are coming from. We create our beliefs based on what has happened to us in our lives. So maybe trying to understand somebody instead of trying to convince them that your way is right is a good place to start this week. Okay. So really sit back, listen more than talk. Put yourself in maybe a little uncomfortable zone where, instead of listening enough so that you can respond, sit back and actually listen to the person. Get a feel for what they're talking about before you jump at the attack and, rip their heads off because they don't have the same thoughts as you do. There's always a reason that people believe what they do. And, we can't experience everybody else's trauma. And I feel like that's a really important part of being able to get along with other people. Okay. So let's look at one more thing. And we get the High Priestess in reverse. So something that's going to bring us anxiety this week is that you're going to feel like you can't trust yourself. You're going to feel like you can't trust your own intuition. Okay. Your senses feel off. You might be a little cranky, a little angry, like we talked about. I do feel like there's a big swirl this week of, I just feel like maybe the whole world is just going through this with us. You know, with the High Priestess too, just remember that there's not so much black and white. We want to always look at the gray area, kind of what we talked about just past with the Hanged Man, okay? How are we going to get through this? We're going to get through this with the Two of Pentacles. And I think that that's really great because we're going to learn how to balance and learn how to feel uncomfortable. Or I'm sorry, we're going to learn how to feel comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Our lives are always trying to throw us off balance, right? And learning how to ground and feel more stable is really important. So whatever that means to you, I'm going to pull one card and we get the 10 of Pentacles. So a good way to do this is to really focus on family and growth. And don't worry about what everybody else has. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. What's going to propel you forward this week? What's going to make your life better? You know, we're all starting at a different line, right? Some people have more, some people have less. And that can be with anything. You know, it could be with money, it could be relationships. It doesn't matter. Where are you starting from? Okay. And, you know, do what's going to propel you forward. When your mind starts swirling and you're thinking about things you don't want to think about, just say to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to think about that right now. What can I think about that's going to make my life better? What can I think about that's going to propel me forward? Right? You know, we don't want to stay stuck in that swirling victim mentality. We want to, you know, keep moving forward. Okay. So maybe hanging out with family or people that are really supportive to you is going to be important. I'm also getting a sense of like getting advice, even though I know advice can be terrible sometimes, right? But getting advice from the elder person in your family or the older person that you know in your life that you really admire, you know, look around to the people who have lives that you want to aspire to and ask them, you know, for some advice. How did they do it? How did they get there? That's really important. And I have to be honest, and I know people always get mad at me, but I never take relationship advice from somebody who's been divorced 5 times, right? If I want to get a divorce, those are the people I talk to. If I want to keep my 33-year-old marriage going, I ask somebody who's been married for 50 years, how did they kept that going, right? So keep that in mind also this week. And we're just going to pull one more. We get the 10 of Wands. I feel like the ending of the week, we are actually going to have a happy ending. But with the 10 of Wands, know that, you know, it's going to be, when it's done, it's done. And when it's over, it's over. So remember, anything that crappy that comes up this week, next, you know, Saturday morning, I want you to wake up and be like, okay, you know what? This week is over and I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to let that go. It's a brand new week. It's a brand new day. Let's set everything in the past and keep going forward. And that means we don't remind people of our disagreements. We don't remind people that we had an argument. Okay. So let's just pull one of these adorable Witches Familiars Oracle and see what these have to say for us this week. This is going to be a pretty heavy week. It's going to be pretty hectic, pretty emotional, pretty conflict. And we get, oh, so cute, water, number 9, the beaver. And it's funny because I just bought a cowboy hat and my cousin taught me all about how much beaver is actually in the hat. You learn something new every week. So this card is all about using your community and using your people, your friends, your family, your work colleagues. Ask for help. Everybody's going to need to come together this week to get it done. Now, that's pretty interesting because that could be where those conflicts are coming in. That could be where you're defending yourself. That could be where you have to be a little bit nicer to people. That's where the Five of Swords in reverse can come into play, right? So with the conflicting ideas kind of easing up. Don't be afraid to ask for help this week. Don't be afraid to offer help this week. But if you have a project that needs to get done, get it done. We have to focus on the one thing that's important, and it's finishing that project, right? So all the other crap on the side, we're going to let all that stuff go. We have to set aside our ego. We have to set aside, we're always 100% right, and we have to everybody come together to get things done. Even though, if somebody gets really angry, like I was talking about, like everybody's going to be in their own bubble, maybe let that person have a timeout and then they can come back and play. And then again, it's ending with that 10 of Wands. So you will complete the project. You will complete whenever it needs to get done, even if it's just cleaning out your closet and your partner has to bring the stuff to Salvation Army, something like that. Get that project done this week, whatever it is that you've been putting off, because I feel like I'm hearing procrastination is going to be one of the issues for the week following. So this is a great week to get stuff done. This is a great week to listen and not always, speak. It's a great week to learn how to trust your intuition a little bit more. If your gut is telling it to you, trust it. If your anxious mind, which talks really fast, is telling it to you, it's not true. That still quiet voice, that's your intuition. That's who we need to trust with the High Priestess this week, okay? Stay balanced. Trust your people. And if this is your first time watching the videos, I hope that this is where I have earned your subscription and your like. And if you love this video, please leave me a comment, or leave me a comment for the other weeks. And I just want to shout out to my friend Kim, who is lovely and always likes my videos and says how good they are. So hello, Miss Kimmer. I miss you. And tell Jim I said hello. And I want to just also say thank you to everybody who made my 50th birthday on Tuesday. Absolutely wonderful. I am super excited to go into my 50s, and I'm actually sitting here thinking, what do I want to do? I'm in the second half of my life. Hopefully it's the second half. Let's, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? I'm not sure what's completely next. So I guess we'll all just stay tuned. You guys have a great week. Stay relaxed, cut down on the caffeine a little bit. You might have to this week. And you guys have a great week. I'll see you next time. Thank you.